side of the ball. Offense wasn't able to move the ball. So that's when things just started getting restless and people just kind of got, they threw the hands over, fed up. But, yeah, we're going to give Coach his time to get his pieces in, and we just want to see better effort. That's all. I appreciate you all. I'm listening in, and I'll jump off, let somebody else come on.
All right.
Hey, Rocky, let me get in here real quick on this conversation. And this is what I think when you have a school like Alabama A&M that's not a traditional powerhouse, not a traditional winner, and you can't look up at that North Star of Delaware State and say, why are they doing it, why we're not? The SWAC is a totally different animal. The games are totally different. There are more conference games that you have to play, a little bit more difficult. So I think, again, for Sam Shade, what you got a really good coach. And the one thing about it is he took, again, with the hand that he was dealt. He talked about this on this show, about who he brought in and what he had to keep just to get it moving. So I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of high school kids come in there, and I think you're going to see a lot of high-level transfer that he's going to evaluate. And, again, you're going to have a good quarterback coming back. So that is really going to bode well for you guys next year. So, again, you can't look at what Delaware State is doing and saying, oh, why is not this, why is not that. I mean, this usually happens with first-year coaches, to be honest with you. You got to take your lumps. You got to take your head knocks. But then if you got a good coach, they build that program, and then year 2 and 3, that's when you really show the production.
Hey, Mike, I'm not having no academic pissing contest with you. I just simply said from where Coach Shade came from, and you do your own research, there are different academic requirements. Every school has academic requirements that they have to work through. Every school does. But they were different at Miles than they are at Alabama A&M, and I'll leave it right there. So, but we got a caller with the last 48310. You live on HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Rocky, Coach, Mr. Campbell. This is Lionel. TV versus everybody.
What's going on, Lionel?
Just calling to bless the Coaches Corner.
Thank you, Lionel. I appreciate it, my brother.
Lionel, you have been. You just start. Hold on. Let me set this up. You have been a big problem on social media. You have been the guy. You have been the guy that the Jackson State people have targeted as the problem for Prairie View. Now, to us why, you're not a problem, and explain to us why you feel the way you feel and what you do on social media.
Well, first of all, why would I even be a problem in the first place? It doesn't even make sense. I'm a problem because I created a platform to support PV and to talk about what's going on with PV athletics and football, etc. And I say, hey, we're going to be we should be a championship program. That's the expectation. And then 2, I'm saying we're going to win the championship. That's the problem. I mean, because that's all I've done, right? So it doesn't even make any sense to me that I am a problem in the first place, right? So again, the whole thing is because of who's saying what, which is we've had that conversation many times before. If it's Grambling, if it's Southern, if it's FAM, nobody's saying anything about somebody saying you're gonna win a championship in 2025 or whatever. So it's really nothing, to be honest, right? It's just all smoke and mirrors. That's the first thing. 2, I mean, at the end of the day, I've been telling people, especially TV Nation, you can't listen to none of these people saying. People talk out both sides of their neck all the time when they're talking about sports or football or their team. That's just what it is, right? They create all type of narratives, right? Again, whoever creates narrative controls everything. That's just how it works, right? So at the end of the day, the way you beat that is creating your own narrative, right? So you tell your own story. So that's what we've been doing. And I guess that's also that bothers people, I guess, because, now we're out saying what we want to say about our team. Again, like Coach Cole say, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? We can say, which I'm using what is actually shared and what's actually out there in the real world, right? Real games is played to say, hey, we have number 1 defense. This game against Alabama State is the number 1 defense against the number 1 offense. Anybody can come on and say, oh, well, the stats is full goals and all that stuff. That's fine. If they want to say that, that makes no difference to me, right? I'm going to still say what I say, though, right? I guess because I still can say whatever I want to say and I have my own voice, I'm my own man, right? I guess people have an issue with that, but it don't make no difference to me.
Lana, I'm gonna tell you the problem, really, Lana. And I'm gonna sit there. And if you were in my face, I'd look you right in the eye and say, the problem is that PV's whooping ass this year. That's the problem. That's why you're particularly annoying. That's part of it.
That's a part of it too.
Yeah, that's part of it too. Y'all whooping ass this year, and you've been talking this talk for several years now, and it's come to fruition. And y'all are on the cusp of doing something that not many people believe y'all could do, but you always believed it, didn't you, Lionel? Didn't you? So I think you deserve to talk your stuff, man. You believed it when nobody believed it. You believed it when nobody believed it.
That's right, Rocky.
You like the
That's right, Rocky.
You like the great prophet. You like all the great prophets. You know who all the great prophets are. And Lionel, if they win the championship, you are one of them. Lionel is one of the great. He'll go down in history like Muhammad and all those other great prophets.
Right. Can we at least say he heard it on our show that they were gonna whoop everybody?
No, Lonnie got to give.
No. I ain't hear that. I ain't hear that. I did hear that on that show from Coach Cole. He did say that. I did hear Coach Cole say that. You know what I'm saying?
But and I see that Kalana's my nephew. You know, I love and respect everything. Dude, that's why I kind of set him up for this joke. And he knows it's a joke about him being a problem because he knows he's not a problem. That's more of a joke. But I do find it interesting because of the way social media is, and when you have a champion. That is Jack State. They are the champions. And then you guys who, again, will be the West champions unless something crazy happens, which I don't believe it is. And you guys are the upstart. And the champion does not want to hear from somebody that hasn't beaten them. But you guys will keep talking. And that to me is honestly, with the positive side, not the negative side, is good for the SWAC. I think that some of the banter between the good people, not the fools, and you know what I'm talking about, is fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Because trust me when I say this, Lionel, and you know this, if you all get hammered down in that vet, you know what it's going to be. You know what it's going to be.
Lionel, let me say this, because I want to put you and give you an example of how you feel to other people. What if Arkansas Pine Bluff had a platform where they constantly talk noise and they talked about how they gonna beat y'all to sleep this weekend? How would that sound?
That would sound like something that's great for the SWAC. I mean, I think everybody needs a platform. If we trying to be what we think we are as an FCS conference in the first place, that to me that makes sense. We need that, right? You don't think that? I mean, if you go.
How would it? No, what I'm saying is, how would you take that as a PV?
If they say at the PV,
yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take that. I don't take that anyway, right? Give your reasons, right? Why do you think we're gonna lose this game? Why do you think you're gonna beat us? I have no problem with that. I don't have an issue with Arkansas Pine Bluff or Valley or any school that you look at as because you're naming that school because of what it is, right? You didn't say Southern. Right, you just said if Southern came on or Jackson came on, because again,
they playing y'all next. That's why I mentioned.
Okay, I get you. But I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. That's my point, though. I don't have a problem at all. I have no problem with that.
You don't think they would be out of line if they're saying if they came to you on your platform, Lionel, and said we're gonna beat y'all to sleep, we're gonna blow y'all out, y'all can't hang with us. There's nothing y'all can do to stop it. PV's gonna get shut out. We don't care about Coach Jackson. We don't care about Cam Peters. We don't care about the running back. We're gonna stop y'all and we're gonna beat y'all to sleep. And then they
why should they care? Why should they care about any of those things in the first place? That to me, right? One. Two, it doesn't y'all already said earlier that none of this stuff matters, right? So the truth is it don't even matter because the game don't get played anyway. But why would I have a problem? Why would I have a problem with Arkansas Pine Bluff talking noise? That don't make any sense. It doesn't matter what their record is. Why does it make any sense?
So you wouldn't give them pushback and ask them to look into reality and realize that they're 3-6, the bottom of the conference in all statistics, and they're having a struggling season with a coach that probably is going to get fired at the end of the year. You wouldn't mention that to them?
I'm going I'm gonna give them pushback regardless. But that's totally different from, do I have a problem with them coming and saying? Those are two completely different things, though, right? Two completely different thoughts. I'm gonna talk to whoever I'm talking to, right? They can be undefeated. I'm still gonna talk to them, right? That has nothing to do with, can they come and talk to me about what they think they're gonna do? Of course they can, and they should. I mean, hey, do that.
What's the question?
Yeah, I don't see that as an issue. I don't see that as an issue at all.
No, he said, did Coach Cole say, did you have a question or another comment?
No, my only main point was to come on and say that things are, because I heard Mr. Peters come on early, and at the end of the day, right? For example, early in this year, you had people really talking well about Alabama A&M, regardless of, or even North Carolina Central, right? A lot of it is based on, again, the pedigree of what they see and what they had from last year. It's not even based necessarily on this year, right? But the truth is, if you looked at everybody they played up until that point, they had only beaten teams that with one win, right? Every win they had was against a team that had one win, right? When you look at Alabama A&M, people were looking very highly at them when Quad Brown was not injured yet, but who had they beat yet? Only Tennessee State, an all-corn team that lost to Northwestern State. So really, they ain't play anybody, right? So again, it's just all about narratives and whoever's controlling the mic at that time at the end of the day, right? But like y'all have already said, and I'm just seconding it, none of it matters until you play on the field, right? And so at the end of the day, we can create all type of narratives, right, around many different things, right? We can make a defense look better than they are, or offense look worse than they are, based on what our perspectives are. But again, the teams are going to have a chance to determine what it is when they play the game. And again, December 6th, as I've said, like Mr. Campbell say on Twitter, if y'all think we talking now, don't worry, this ain't nothing. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll holler at y'all, man.
I appreciate it, Lionel, man. Thank you for calling in. You always
TV versus everybody. Sunday night, y'all check him out. Him and Coach Northern and one other guy.
Hey, man, I admire Lionel.
Guys, one of the things, though, y'all really sometimes overlook is, I know we're saying some of this stuff don't matter, but ask Terrence Graves.
Yeah, well, Coach, to your point is, you're right. There are consequences for certain things that happen, but at the end of the day, Terrence Graves didn't lose his job because of what was said about him. Now, what was said about him ain't why he lost his job, is it, Coach? It ain't because you said he didn't lose his job when you said he was the best of the worst. He kept his job.
Right.
No, right. What was said about it was validated by actually what happened. Let's say that.
Right.
He actually validated what people thought.
We were fighting for him when the people on the outside was like, oh no, this championship a bust.
No, I said it was championship or bust because it was, and that's the reason why he didn't make it. So no, I said that I never deviated from that because those other people were not going to sit back there, and of course, and I never thought they would have a historic bad year. But I thought if those games flipped, like we all predicted that they would, and they did flip,
they all flipped. They all flipped.
They all flipped. And that was, I never thought they were all going to flip to a point where I would never believe to this very day that Southern might be 1-11. That to me still is baffling.
Wow. Hey guys, let's get through these games so we can get our picks, man. We already went through. We were forced to go through the Prairie View A&M game twice. Did anything come out of this for you guys? The thing that surprised me is the backup quarterback wasn't near as effective as he had been against other teams. And Coach Cole, do you think that was because of the defense he was playing?
Ain't no question. I mean, man, when you get this late in the season, and as a coach and as a team, either you getting better or you getting worse. And fortunately, I've been on both ends of that year, so it gives you a chance to evaluate what you have. And at this time, you experience everybody. You trying to play everybody. You trying to find some guys that maybe you should have played during the season and didn't play. So no, it doesn't.
All right. Is there anything that we learned in this game? I don't think we learned anything here. Jackson State is Jackson State. Mississippi Valley is 1-8. I don't think that. I know T-Buck is your guy, Mr. Campbell.
I like I say, I was on D Breakdown with Mike. I told him this is exactly what was going to happen on D Breakdown. See y'all tomorrow, as a matter of fact. But so it's not shocking. I mean, Jackson State was going to come up there and roll those boys, and that's exactly what happened. There was no doubt in my mind. Like I say, Coach Buck, T-Buck is going. He just got listen. He's going to have to figure out what his recruiting formula is, and once he figures that out, then he'll get those guys competitive. It's the first year. It's Mississippi Valley. This is not shocking.
All right, Coach, I'll let you talk about this one. Your guy Eddie Robinson was coaching against your alma mater with a backup quarterback. Bama State went in at halftime down by 3, and they won the second half 21-0. So,
TSU's been playing like this all year. They do enough to stay in the game, but they don't do enough to win. And of course, they beating the teams they should, and not beating the teams that they can beat. They have a lot going on. I heard the post game interview by the head coach, and he was really riled up by some of the players showing a lot of undisciplined and making a lot of undisciplined actions, and that's something that he's going to have to get together because it definitely shows on the football field. They definitely got a good-looking football team, and should be winning some of these games if they lose it.
Were you surprised that that Bama State was able to hold it together and beat Texas Southern convincingly, even though Andrew Body was on the shelf?
No, not really. The kid they got behind, he's a transfer that's pretty darn good, but they just been playing good football. They look like they got good team chemistry, good team morale, and they make it tough when you come down in the Hornets' nest.
Coach, I wanted to point something out to you and ask you, had you experienced this very much? Have you experienced where a team loses by looks like 18 points and they had the ball 42 minutes and 17, and the other team had the 17. Have you ever seen it? Because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, Coach.
That one I can't answer. That's saying you playing a lot of ball control being down. You controlling the ball down, and they just coming back and they just big playing you. Look at the team stats individual to see that evidently they were just making big plays.
How do you score 42 points and you don't convert a third down?
Wow. Again, you having some good plays.
Now, it's interesting that you play a whole game and you only have 4 third downs. That's
crazy. And Coach, it ain't even no turnovers. So it's got to be big plays. They had to catch either long touchdowns or long runs.
Oh, I think they made some score some points in the kicking game too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I know that. I know one dude ran a kickoff back.
Yeah. So that was just an interesting stat I wanted to bring out there. And then we got Florida A&M. Campbell, I'm gonna step aside, and I know you had both eyes on this one.
Yeah, I had both eyes plus 2 more eyes. I had my crack staff to watch this game too, and my crack staff let me know there was 4 touchdowns called back in this game. 3 of them were in the first quarter. So this game could have went
for Pine Bluff.
For Pine Bluff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this game could have went a totally different way. So again, what Coach Coles has shown the propensity is to beat the worst teams in the SWAC and not be able to get blown out by the best teams.
Now, Coach, that scored 31. Is that what in 2 seasons? Is that like the 4th game y'all scored 30 points?
Well, we've scored 30 against all. Let me see, them, Southern, Alcorn, Albany State. So we scored 30 plus 4 games this season.
And last year
we didn't score over 24, but twice.
Wow.
But I mean, it doesn't matter because we're not scoring the points against the good teams. I mean, what is that? I mean, I'm not giving us no. This is, like I said, this is Florida A&M, and again, the problem is in both of these games we show playmakers that are going to the house that we did not feature in the first part of the season, which led up to being blown out because you didn't get those guys involved until now at the end of the season. Now the crazy thing about it, and I've told everybody this, FAMU's gonna run the table. Watch what I tell you. You know, and all these people, oh, you're gonna lose this. Man, I'm gonna say this. Stop talking about FAMU's gonna lose these bad teams. FAMU has that much talent that we can beat the bad teams. We just don't have what we need to beat the good team. But we're going to beat Alabama A&M next week. We're going to beat Valley. And Bethune-Cookman, like I said, we'll see what happens when they go up there to Jackson. Because if Jackson put a whooping on them, I think that's going to take a lot of steam out of them. I know they'll be ready to play. But it'll be amazing that Cozy will sneak through again and be 7 and get another 7-win season. Which still shows you, compared to Southern, that's not the standard for FAMU. That's not going to be acceptable, winning 7 games. Well, a lot of other teams would be happy to win 7 games.
Yeah. Coach.
Maybe y'all need to go get the coordinator from Delaware State.
Coach.
They want a Florida boy, Coach.
No, all I'm going to say is to TBA, to be announced. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Coach Cozy's still the coach. Hey, now, Coach, this was your protege. One of your proteges was in this game, and this game was talked about all over the SWAC, but not for football, Coach. Coach, have you ever had a team be in a brawl?
I haven't, Coach. I've never had I've never coached a football team, especially as a head coach and assistant head, that had a brawl. Never. I just think that talking with Coach Mickey, he just said that he was just saying he started teams coming down and into their tunnel. If you ever been to Grambling, you got to come down this big old hill. And as soon as you hit the hill, they have their tiger up where the kids run through. And for some reason, kids like to go through the tiger, so they had a hard time with that. But this thing was interesting. He said there were no referees. Referee usually come and get your team and tell you, let's go. I don't know why these 3 or 4 or 5 ball players from Bethune-Cookman wasn't already down on the field. Because you got to come down this hill, man, getting to the football field. And for them kids even to be that close to the players is a no-no. You know what I mean? You got to have mature players. Then I seen some refs which were coming down the hill, and those 3 or 4 players were able to try to get in there and started. But that's where it kind of started from, them coming down this hill. And is that the right thing to say of what Coach said? Politically, no. That's something that you might want to say in your locker room to your kids. Him saying that publicly was not a good move. Unfortunately, if you're in this game, you understand that you don't let people come to your home field and step in the middle of your field on your mascot or nothing like that. I mean, you're asking for trouble. But on the other hand, you got to have your players and make sure they understand they not only represent themselves in the university, they represent the community they come from and, television and everything else, alumni association. So, you try to stir away from that and you put emphasis on that in practice. I mean, the thing that we used to do in practice is if 2 players start fighting, Coach, we circle up. No, go ahead. But I make sure they keep their helmets on. Coach, after 1 or 2, fighting, if anybody ever got in a fight, it's tough, Coach. It's tough. And, man, I mean, we had guys that, they go at it. Next thing you know, man, before they stop, they so tired, they just hug each other. Man, get off me, man. So when you start doing that, shit, the players they don't fight. They just go the opposite way. They might hit each other. They go the opposite way. Like no, man. I'm not. So it's a process that you should have in or put in to make sure those things won't happen.
Yeah, I know brawls are something that happens, but I think at halftime and before the game, teams should never intermingle unless they are on the field. I think that's always a recipe for disaster for football players. It's such an aggressive sport played by very aggressive young men, and any type of intermingling of the two teams, this could happen. So I think you're right, Coach. I don't know why those Bethune-Cookman players were intermingled with the Grambling players.
Well, and they were asking for it, Coach. They were asking for it. Rome, who threw the first punch, who didn't throw the – there's no way that those kids should have got that close to the group of them guys. They should have stayed back, let Grambling clear the pathway, and then came on down on the football field.
Well, and just to kind of talk about the outcome of this, Grambling had 17 players suspended. Bethune-Cookman had 9 players suspended. Looks like 17 players is a lot, Coach. That's a lot of players.
Yeah, that's a lot of players.
I don't know how many of them are frontline players, but that's a lot of players, Coach.
Like I said, talking to Coach Joseph, man, he just said, Coach, last year they got into a big brawl with Alabama. He said, I just get sick of it. These teams come here, and try to walk all over you and all that kind of stuff. But, we talked, we had a good talk, man. And I just kind of added to him, Coach, I know how you feel, but you speaking from a different platform.
Yeah.
So he was able to straighten that all out and read another statement today.
Yeah. He had a more measured comment at SWAC at the SWAC conference.
He was hyped, Coach. He was hyped after winning a big game, at the end, and he coming off the field, and he's still excited. And as soon as you throw that mic in your face, man, you gotta be ready to say the right thing.
Yeah, he said disrespect is gonna be met with disrespect. Hey, he sounded like he wanted some more, Coach.
Hey, like them young boys say, he was standing on 10 toes down.
Hey, what did you think about it, Campbell?
Well, you guys are bearing the lead. The fight is the fight, but I'm going to tell you what's more important, and correct me if I'm wrong. Does not Coach Joseph have an automatic kicker if he wins 8 games on his contract? Isn't that correct? You guys got to understand what's going on with Grambling. Grambling is potentially going to win 9 games this year. That is a big deal. All that fighting, to me, that's irrelevant. What is relevant is what's in front. No, I'm serious. Because that fight can determine if he's going to have the players, to get that 8th win and to get that 9 wins for Grambling is a big deal. That puts them on. And like I say, and people, and Coach, this being around us, I've always told people about this. You better watch Grambling. They're never going to be down for long. And there's something about that school and something about those guys, because they get the 9 wins, you're going to see a whole bunch of players flood in there next year, and they're going to be challenging for that West. So to me, the bigger thing is, can he win? Because I think, do they play Alcorn? Do they play Alcorn next week?
Yeah, they got Alcorn.
Okay, so you're talking about a big game that Grambling needs to win for Mickey Joseph to say, you know what? I have a choice now. I can stay or I can leave. You're not going to be able to make the decision, which will be also interesting because of what we've heard of swirl around Mickey Joseph. And do they get to 9 wins, which will be a hell of an accomplishment compared to what's happened the last couple of years at Grambling?
Hey, I don't agree with this, but I understand their point. I don't think Grambling is a sleeping giant. I think Grambling is a giant. You know what I mean? They just have to have the right guy at the helm, and it looked like Coach Joseph is the guy. Now, speaking of not going to be down long, we got your good friend from Southern. They traveled to Alcorn, Mr. Campbell. and they lost 17-35 to what I would consider a bad Alcorn team.
Well, I thought I watched this game, and of course, I think you guys did a watch party.
Yeah.
And I was headed to the Laker game, but I watched as much of it I could as I was even in the car. And the thing that I found fascinating is that how well Alcorn played. And this was I don't know if y'all saw that handshake between Cedric Thomas and Fred McNair. It wasn't no hug. It was like, all right, coach, it's good to see you. And they kept it moving. I found that a little bit fascinating.
I don't think either one of them said one word.
Exactly. So again, you're talking about a team, Alcorn, who really was teetering to look at where Southern was looking to put a couple of wins together now. And the question is, can they finish strong? Again, they play Grambling next week. That's a big game for both teams. Again, big game for Alcorn. And again, we're talking about to get to a record where Cedric Thomas can keep his job. Grambling, again, can they get 8-9 wins? So I thought that was fascinating. Southern, like I said, those guys are checked out. And I think the Southern people know it. Everybody knows it. Those guys are checked out. They're not going to win another. I don't think they're going to win another game.
Yeah. Hey, we can go ahead and pick these games for next week. I thought this was going to be a hope to be a very competitive game. But the last couple of weeks, Bethune-Cookman has showed up like Bethune-Cookman that we all know and love. Do you think this has any chance on being a game, Coach Cole?
I think it does. I think you're going to have a high-scoring game. One thing, Bethune-Cookman, boy, they could definitely beat you deep. I don't think Jackson State should go in there and thinking they're going to lay down because they ain't. They know they got an opportunity to be the big dog. I seen Grambling come in there and run past Jackson State. They got some wide outs, and Bethune-Cookman, they can get it done. So hopefully Jackson State don't take them lightly.
So are you saying you're taking Bethune-Cookman on this one?
No, I got Jackson State, but it's going to be a close one.
Okay. What about you, Campbell?
Hey, listen, everybody knows the breakdown, the M-Bar sponsor. It's going to be a whole lot of wings being served by Jackson State tomorrow. Saturday afternoon. I thought Bethune-Cookman, they had their chance. They needed to beat Grambling for this game, for them to where I think they needed to play. They had to beat Grambling because then it really would have meant something. They're bringing the band up there. I think Woody would have been doing their dance. He would have been able to get their speech guys, win one for the Gipper speech. I think that would have really got those guys hyped up. Now, this goes back to now you're playing for pride. I don't know if Bethune-Cookman has that in them to really show out. I think Jackson State also understands what's at stake. This is their last home. Well, it's not their last one. I think Alcorn they play at home. But this is the game that if they're looking at the last two games, they should be worried about. I think they're going to handle business, and I think Jackson State is going to put another 40 piece up, and I think it'll be 40-28.
All right. I got Jackson State, of course. This game right here, it's been a long time since Arkansas Pine Bluff beat Alcorn, huh? They've dropped to 2-4, and they're going against what I would think is the eventual SWAC West winner. And I got Prairie View. I'm not going to even mess around with it. The only speculation in this game is how many Prairie View fans will show up to a game that's really, isn't this the West clinching game right here?
That would be correct.
Yeah. They already in the championship game, but this is the nail in the nail in the coffin. It ain't no more mathematics and nothing. This the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
No,
Coach, that's not true. They lose these last two, and Grambling wins out. Grambling would be your West champion.
No, but he said if they win this one, this clinches.
Oh, yeah.
And what would Grambling be?
Second place.
Yeah, with two losses. With two
losses.
Right. And but you left out something. Grambling got to win the last two too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So I mean, the game means something.
They got a world beater. They got a They're gonna have a mighty feisty team coming there for
either Prairie View can lose to Pine Bluff and come back and beat Valley and still go to the championship.
Yeah.
And we know they're not losing the Valley.
Okay, I've seen the Prairie View team lose the Valley and play in the SWAC championship next week. But it wasn't coached by Tremaine Jackson.
Right.
So let me look here, Mr. Campbell. What are you expecting here from your Rattlers on the road in Huntsville?
I think you're going to see the same thing. You're going to see the same game against Southern. You're going to see the same game that you saw against UAPB. It's going to look ugly. It's going to look funny. But all of a sudden, you're going to see playmakers making plays. And we'll have one of those games where we'll score 30-some points, and they'll score 5 points less, and we'll get out of there with a win. I think Alabama A&M, again, they don't score 3 points against Prairie View's defense. And, again, Prairie View defense way better than FAMU. But they kind of showed you that they've just slowed down our offense. And I think, and once again, we have playmakers to make big plays. I think they're going to make a lot of plays against Alabama A&M. So I think that's going to be one of those things that Colsey's going to – this is one of those games that FAMU just got their mojo, and I think they'll win that game.
Yeah, I talked with one of the coaches on the staff at Alabama A&M. They beat up, man. They are beat up. They're beat up. They're playing with the third, fourth team quarterback. You know, they had a lot of injuries. They got to do a whole makeover. You know, they got a lot of recruiting to do, and they got to do a whole makeover, guys.
All right, Coach. This one is interesting. Alcorn has a chance to defeat Southern one week, Grambling the next. In any other year, that would be a huge accomplishment. This year, not so much, considering what Grambling is up against without 17 players on their squad. Coach, who you got in this one?
I think it's going to be a great game, but I think Grambling got the momentum. You know, they've won the last two, beating Jackson State, playing up to the par of a Grambling State team. I got Grambling over Alcorn in a close one.
What about you, Campbell?
Well, this is the thing that's interesting. Let's talk about what the key to the game is what's going to happen with Grambling at the quarterback position. You got a freshman that a young man is going to come in there and play a second game at Alcorn. That has been really a terror for Grambling in years past. So, again, that's the thing about it with Grambling. Are they going to be able to get this kid up to speed? Again, the kid had a hell of a game against Bethune-Cookman, you know what I'm saying? You know, 220 yards. I'm sorry, 220 yards and threw 4 touchdowns. So, again, you're talking about a kid that comes in there, and now here he comes with his second start. And I think he's is he a true freshman? I think he's a true freshman.
Yeah, he's a true freshman.
So you're talking about a true freshman going down there to the reservation. Hey, man, listen, this is what legends are made of. I'm going to tell you, it's hard for me to pick against the G, but I just think I just don't see Alcorn losing this game with this freshman quarterback that just got thrown in there because it's a lot riding on with Grambling. So I'm going to go with Alcorn.
Yeah, I'm looking at Grambling, and I see how did they play Texas Southern? They played Texas Southern really close. Alcorn put the whoop stick out on Texas Southern.
Didn't Grambling beat Texas? I mean, didn't Texas Southern beat Grambling?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't think so. Hold on. Did they?
Yeah, they fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Yeah. So, man, Mickey should have had 8 wins already. Yeah, but Alcorn put the whoop stick on Texas Southern.
Yeah.
That's the game where
you know Steve McNair, when he was a coach at Alcorn, he had troubles with Texas Southern. He lost about 3 years in a row.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take Alcorn in this one, guys. I can't. Alcorn has really been playing well. Grambling gonna come in shorthanded. I'm gonna take Alcorn. But what do you think about the Battle of the Southerns? Battle of the Southerns. You know, this game has gotten coaches fired at Southern. You know that? Someone told me that this game right here is actually the game that got Pete Richardson fired. I don't know if that's true. Do you know anything about that, Mr. Coach Cole?
Well, yeah, I was on the other sideline, and we were down, and we had drove down and missed a field goal, and they got the ball, and unfortunately, they didn't realize I had 3 timeouts left, and we stopped them 1, 2, 3, and they punted and gave us the ball back with about 1:50 left, and we were able to drive down and score a touchdown and win the game. And they were letting Coach. Unfortunately, they were letting Coach go that weekend, that Monday. But that was back in 2009.
Yeah.
2009.
Hey, Coach, in this one, I want to take Coach McNair so bad, but I just can't. I got Texas Southern in this one.
Oh. Do you?
Like you, Coach? Yeah. Well, let me let you think on it, Campbell. Let me let Coach think on who you got, Campbell.
Well, this is one of those things that Texas Southern's going to look at this season and what could have been. And that's the problem with this game, because they've lost games that they should have won. They should be still in the hunt and hoping for an outside chance of playing for the West. But now they're hoping to see if they can have a winning record, which when you looked at it when they started off, it looked like that was going to be a foregone conclusion. You're talking about a team that's 4-5, 3-3 in the SWAC, playing a 1-9 Southern down there in Mumford. So the thing about it, what's really important for Texas Southern, can they get it going so they can try to finish it? Well, what they got? So they're 4-5. They got, are they Texas Southern playing? Let me see what they got. They got one more game. So they're only playing 11 games. So again, can they get to a winning season? So they play Alabama A&M at the end. So they should win these 2 games. I'm going to go with Texas Southern, but the thing about it is I don't see progress from year 1 to year 2. It looks like they stalled out in the middle of the season. You had Coach Dishman doing some conflicting press conferences. Rocky, you sent us a video by him talking about people not going to class and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And then he comes back on the coach's call on Monday and says everybody's doing great and everybody's doing a good job. So I really don't understand the schizophrenia about who's doing right, who's doing wrong. So that's kind of concerning that he made those statements within a week of each other about his players. So I think, again, he's still trying to find his identity. I don't think Texas Southern has an identity. I know they want to be a running team, but sometimes they run it, sometimes they don't. They definitely have not been a consistent defensive team. And, of course, Southern's already, once again, packed it up. But, again, Southern can bite you. And maybe, like I said, this is Southern's last home game, I'm assuming, again, before the Bayou Classic, I guess. So, again, do they finish up strong for the seniors?
Yeah, that's a good analogy, do it for the seniors. But I mean, I think they got some people that can do it, but at this point in time, I think they probably landed down. I got Texas Southern, they can run the ball real good. They have a problem throwing the ball. Southern got a problem everywhere. So I'm gonna pick my alma mater down in the Bayou. Down in Baton Rouge, 24-21.
All right. Last game of next week, which is Alabama State, is going to travel to Itta-Bena. We don't know if Andrew Body is going to be able to play in that game. But I know one thing about it. Coach E-Rob is going to have them ready. Alabama State doesn't lose these games. So since E-Rob is there, they don't lose these games. I got Alabama State.
Yeah, they average 40 points a game, Coach. They can go in there and play a bad game and get 24. Easy. They'll have that in the first half. It's going to be a long game for Mississippi Valley. I got Alabama State 40-3-7, somewhere in there.
I mean, this game is not even up for discussion. We know what it is. Alabama State's going to come in there. They're going to roll these guys. I mean, it is what it is. They're playing through the cycle. So Alabama State is, like I said, and what they've shown is that they are not just a one-person team. As Andrew's gone down, they are still rolling, still scoring points. Defense still has not gotten to, I know Eddie Robinson, when he looks back at this season, is what could have been if he didn't lose all those guys in the transfer portal. If they would have came back on defense, he might have would have had a national championship team. But unfortunately, he had an offensive team that just didn't have defense to back him up.
Hey, yeah. Hey, guys, we got a little treat for you. Something we want to share with you that we think is relevant. A lot of guys in this on this YouTube space like to act like they know football, talk like they know football. And I want to get this guy, Quincy Avery, is going to go through cover 4. And I'm going to set it up because this was an argument online. I want to say Mia Kimes noted that you should beat cover 4 by throwing it deep, right? Some Coach JB said she don't know what she talking about. You don't beat cover 4 by throwing it deep. You think you beat cover 4 by throwing it in the flat. And so,
may I add something to that, Coach?
Go ahead, Coach.
And each coverage has a route that is what they giving up, and you as a coach got to call that route to beat any coverage. Every coverage, there's routes that can beat coverages, routes, and patterns. And so you just got to call that right route or the right pattern to beat different coverages. I just wanted to add that.
Now, Coach, now, and I'll say this, Coach, a lot of us, and I'm going to put me in that category, we think we know ball. We think we know what we're looking at, Coach. I personally have never made one quarter calling a defense or offense, Coach. You, on the other hand, has fed your family, put your kids through college, bought homes, and made a career of calling plays and scoring touchdowns. So you are the expert in this, Coach. And so I'm gonna let you listen to this as this gentleman is breaking this down, and you're gonna tell me whether or not he's correct or incorrect.
Rocky, do you have him on mute? Are you playing the sound or are you just playing the play?
Oh man, I can't. You know how my sound. Hold on, let me see. Can I?
If you can't do it, I'm pretty sure because that's the link.
Yeah, pull it up where you can pull it, because you can't. Yeah, y'all can't hear my sound.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me find it. Because this all really stemmed from guys. And I'm going to start with Rocky. What Rocky said. You got a lot of people, because you hear people talking about why plays work, why plays don't work. Man, a lot of people do not understand what goes on and how these coverages actually work. Rocky, where did I send that to you at? I text that, right?
Yeah. You did. You sent it.
Here you go. I got it right here. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. All right. Hold on. I got it. Mm-hmm.
And again, this is Quincy Avery, a guy, and he has, if you notice the jerseys that are up in his background, those are guys that he's coached and that have made to the NFL. I also think he's coached Cam and also Shador, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the same guy.
Is it up yet?
Yeah, but you got to press play.
Yeah, I just got to make the screen big. All right, here we go.
There was so much talk last week about quarters coverage, cover 4, by goofy people saying goofy things about how you had to attack the coverage. I'm going to show you the Philadelphia Eagles seeing quarters coverage and knowing that they had the advantage.
And this game was last night, by the way.
All right, so this is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to come out in a 3-by-1 set. That's 1, 2, 3 receivers to the boundary, 1 receiver to the wide side of the field. All right, so we have 1 receiver to the field. They have 1, 2 safeties, right? So they have 2 safeties on the defense. This is a shell coverage, right? We could be getting 2, we could be getting 4, we could be getting cover 6. But when Jahan Dotson motions from the left side to the right side of the field, notice no defenders work across the field with this. So now we've confirmed we're getting some sort of zone coverage, and that's great. In quarters coverage, a lot of people think that the safety's job is to work just here, like we're just going to get depth. That is not their job. Their first job, eyes to number 2. Number 2 does not travel vertically down the field, so his next job is to take his eyes to number 1. So what ends up happening here is a cornerback and the safety ends up like a vice. They're double teaming A.J. Brown in this situation. So A.J. Brown is working here, so McKinney will not get any more depth. He has to be responsible and take away the inside there on anything that A.J. Brown is running. Now, here's the problem with quarters coverage. That puts one of their absolute best receivers, one of the best receivers in the NFL, Devontae Smith, one-on-one versus Evan Williams, right? Evan Williams is here. Devontae Smith is here. That's a really difficult situation for anybody. But when you have this much room and separation, we get here. We can work to the corner. We can work to the post. And there is no help here, right? We've isolated this safety versus one of our top tier receivers. That puts him in hell. This ball doesn't have to be great. We have all this room to the field. We're running a post. He's got as much room as you want to work running this post in order to create this touchdown. That is why people say in quarters coverage, we want to be able to isolate the safety and throw the ball down the field, and that is exactly what they did. So anytime you hear somebody say, hey, if we get quarters coverage, we get cover 4, we just want to work 3 to the flats, that is wrong. You want to take your chances, get explosive plays, and that's how the Philadelphia Eagles did it.
Let me tell you what's funny about that. If you look at that play, that's a literally exact play that Jack State runs with Nate Rembert, and just has been killing people all year because of what exactly Nate Rembert does and what he puts pressure. They literally ran that play on FAM. That play was the play that Nate ran on FAMU when that safety came up and Nate was gone. So it was kind of interesting. The reason why I wanted to show that, because Coach, and I'll let you break it down even more from a college standpoint, when you see the defenses, and like you say, why do they have so much trouble? We've seen Jack State run this type of pattern consistent. We've seen Alabama State run this pattern and be successful. Why would we have so much trouble defending that offensive set with that play?
Well, I mean, the thing of it is that sometimes the safeties don't get deep enough or not deep at all. And sometimes you find them looking in the backfield. Quarter coverage is when you start getting in those coverages in colleges, most of the time you better have a very experienced secondary, because young guys, coming out of high school, they get in trouble by looking in the backfield and not doing what they're supposed to do. Like I was saying earlier, there's different routes as well as different patterns to attack what coverage is. A lot of times, you hear people say, well, who's high on top? Meaning how many safeties they have on top. Some is 1, some is 2. And then sometimes people think, oh, well, they're either in 2-zone or 2-man, meaning they're in a zone instead of a matchup coverage. Quarters is just like it is. Quarter. You got a quarter field. I got a quarter from the top of the numbers to the hash. You got a quarter. And if that receiver comes off, and if he comes off at least at 12, I lock on man. And that's what you see right there. If I don't have a man as a safety, now I'm looking outside to take away the dig route, because I know my corner is taking away the outside. So in that case, to me, yeah, I like the post. I do like the post, but I think the post corner would even been better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as a coordinator, that's your job. Your job is to find mismatches. Whether it's throwing the ball in the flats, I get that. I get that what people saying, I'm going to run number 1 off and then I'm going to get in the flat. and see if I can match up against a linebacker or something like that. I see why they say that, but that ain't the only route that you could throw against cover.
The argument was you shouldn't throw deep on quarters, and that's because Mina Kimes on ESPN, she said you take a deep shot on quarters, and a lot of times when people hear quarters, they think that's 4 safeties, coach, 4 deep, and
two deep safeties in the corner,
yeah. But in essence, what it is, it's more of a matchup kind of situation than anything else. Because like what Quincy Avery pointed out, if that outside guy goes inside, that safety has to then go cut the dig off. You know what I mean?
Unless that safety has a guy.
Yeah, but he didn't. He didn't have a guy.
Right.
Because 2 went on the other side of the formation. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, coach, those are the kind of things that we're gonna be doing here. Let's looking at plays, looking at different stuff, man, because a lot of people on here want to talk ball, act like they know ball. And at the end of the day, coach, like you've told me many times, with 40,000 in the stands, on you, breathing down on you, with the game on the line, you've made calls.
Yeah.
And there's not very many people on this YouTube space that have done that, you know. And like I say, you've made those calls in those pressure-packed situations. And so you should use your knowledge and share it with us and get us to understand things. And for really to quit just thinking we know things when we really don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot going to this game.
Absolutely. Hey, Campbell, I don't have anything else. You got anything?
Yeah, I got one thing, just a shout out. Yeah, and this goes back to my challenge of all the people. I know everybody, got the different schools they go to. I'm proud to say my freshman class of 1988, that's our foundation arm. We are going to be sponsoring the family basketball team when they come to Georgia. We'll be paying for the kids' meals and helping Coach Ward and those guys. So once again, putting our money where our mouth is. So I always say this again, if you guys, many of our schools, especially during basketball season, come to these big cities or they're coming to play teams that are close, make sure that you get with your alumni association. Make sure you get with the athletic director and see how you can directly help the men's and women's basketball teams or volleyball or whoever else comes into your town, because you would be amazed how important that is for these kids to be able to be fed and taken care of before, they play these big games. So shout out to my freshman class of 88. We'll see everybody at the University of Georgia with FAMU men's basketball, and I'm proud to say that we'll be one of the sponsors taking care of their meals. That's all I got, Coach.
All right, man. Veterans Day, man. Again, want to take our hats off to all the veterans. This is your day. I thank you. All the support, all the giving your life and laying your life on the ground for us, or being away from your family. Man, I can't say enough, and of course, some of them have given their life up just for the freedoms that we have. So I want to thank you guys this day. Man, just like I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, you're tied knot and you hold on tight, because as I always say, ain't no
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.